Let's go. I can feel
Welcome to episode 6 of the Cooked Lobsters. I'm your sous chef, Brandon Trotter, and always with me, head chef, Ryan Weber.
Let's get cracking.
And with us today, we have Ian May. And just tell us about yourself, May.
Yeah, so friend of Ryan and Brandon. Me and Brandon go quite a ways back. We work together, and potential new Jamie of the podcast, as we were talking off air about. So you might be hearing, you might not see a whole lot of me, but you'll probably be hearing me from here on out, if not definitely down the road.
Would you like Zach Galifianakis and like Hangover with all the numbers in the background? We can hear the numbers crack.
I'm just crunching data.
You know, Ian, we'd like to take this moment pretty early on to formally invite you to our podcast family here. If you'd be so humble, we would like to offer you the executive editor position at the Cooked Lobsters, if you would accept.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Have you aboard. Celebrate. We have some Maine craft beers. No shout outs, but if you're watching the video version, I'm sure you can probably figure out what we're drinking.
I would definitely say, though, too, me and you, Ryan, we should definitely try some of these and see what we think.
Definitely. Give it maybe a little review on some of the craft beers here that we got. We got 3 different distinct craft beers, if I'm not mistaken, from 3 companies that I recognize. We'll get to that a little bit later. But Chef Drata, what's cooking right now?
I know. I thought you were just gonna look at the beers and compare how good they were without even opening them, without tasting them at all. But I'm pretty rocked right now, but I'm pretty excited to have you on the cast, Ian, dude. We've had some pretty good times, my man. Especially the TD Bank, some late nights, starting from we had the
shenanigans.
Dude, we had the worst shift, too. We had, from fucking 5 p.m. to, 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah. I used to work until 3:45. If I worked any later, I would have gotten, the 50-cent bonus or whatever for being overnights. I was, so lame. But never do flex schedule. It is so terrible to plan anything in your life. Never would recommend it. It's just a bad time.
Yeah, it's never good. But dude, there were so many times we just the weather, so many.
Oh my god, bro! We have stories. You want to take a little puff of that? We got stories that, just to travel home. We must have a dozen of those stories, bro. Where things were so sketch. I remember one time we're driving home. I had a Nissan Sentra, front wheel drive, and I used to travel back with him because one time I legit got stuck out in the woods in my Nissan Sentra, and I had to call a friend with almost no signal and let him know, hey, if you don't see me back in the morning, this is the road I am at. Please come and get me. Because he had a wench and he had a solid off-roading Jeep and all that.
Maine.
I'm bro.
That's some Maine shit right there for you, guy.
And knowing Ian, doesn't have that iPhone shit where it's yo, find a friend.
yeah, bro.
He's got to do the Android game. He's yo, I got to text you my actual location.
Sending actual coordinates to your phone.
Bro, it was so wild. I told him I'm driving home, and for the listeners in this area, I used to drive home to Norway through 119, which cuts through Hebron and Hebron Academy. And right after Hebron Academy, I saw this chick. She crashed. So I slowed down. I'm I slowed down because she hit a tree pretty fucking hard, it looked like. But she looked fine. She was on her phone. So I'm all right, that's good. But it's
probably why she hit a tree.
Yeah, for those not from winter states, it's very common in winter states if you see somebody off-road or something like that in a storm or needed help on the side of the road to actually stop and like help them out. So I slowed down, but it looks like there was a guy in a Jeep Wrangler who had it. I'm like, he's way better off helping her. And it looked like he was already helping her. So I'm like, might as well just see if I can make it where she couldn't. And the roads were so slick. I start going up this hill right after Hebron Academy. And like spinning tires. And then like I slow down. I go off onto this dirt road because there's a road that goes around and cuts through. And I like make it up the hill. And it's like the most insane shit. So I make it up. I go back down over this road and it goes from dirt to like, you know, regular road. Yeah. And then like I get stuck. I'm like, fuck, I'm stuck at the bottom of like this saddle between these two hills. I go back up the way I came. I look down and it's like glare ice and then a turn at the bottom. I'm like, fuck this. So I'm like, I'm gonna wait. See a guy come by. I wave him down. I'm like, bro, you can't go this way. It's like bad. And he's like, well, you can't go the other way. It's bad. I'm like, yeah, I just came from there. We had to wait until like the plow trucks came, bro, and sanded the road. It was like fucking wild. And then I finally made it home at like 6 a.m. and I left work at like 3 a.m. that time. So it was just so wild. But
dude, like Maine winters ain't nothing to fuck with. They definitely ain't nothing to fuck with for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's the thing though too, is like that's why like I always like in winter have like extra coats and shit, bro, and like extra like warm gear just in case. But like, yeah, it's like legit. Now I have like an all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive Jeep, so like I'm not too worried. But there's still some sketchy shit. I remember one time we were driving back. And like the snow was like literally we're plowing the snow with our cars. It was the most insane shit.
Dude, when we were in the parking lot.
Yeah, and then like we had to like drive all the way down was Lewiston Road or something into Mechanic Falls.
Bro, so the plow people at TD Bank, for those that don't listen, if you are in the Auburn area in the Auburn Mall parking lot, they did not plow the parking lot at all, so we had to go inside and grab shovels and hand shovel like just enough so we could just get enough speed to like keep going around the belt so we can go around the belt circle. Oh, that was
getting overtime. Getting overtime that day, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unpaid.
I know.
Unpaid, yeah. It's the way she goes, you know. Yeah, it's smart. You said keeping like the spare blanket, keeping all the warm clothes, because you can get stuck up there in the woods in Maine for sure. I mean, you get stuck up there. I knew this one girl. She had a story about a sister she had got stuck up there somewhere in the fucking woods, and I guess UFOs came and took her, and then they just found her car.
Jesus.
You know, crazy shit be going on up
there. Did you hear anything about that?
Up in Madawaska.
No, bro.
Up in Madawaska, guy. That's some crazy shit. You know, you never know what you're going to see up in Maine.
You never know, bro. Speaking of, bro, like UFOs and shit.
What about them?
Oh, bro. I know there's like some crazy UFO stories in Maine. I know there's like a lot going on in the news too. I saw your other podcast with Gus there. You guys were talking about it, and I was like, because I'm like all in on the UFOs. Call me crazy, but I'm like all about it. I'm all about that hype. I'm like all this shit. I keep watching it, bro.
Well, what's in the news right now? Like, what's going on? Because I like for somebody out there, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners like probably aren't informed on the UFO news. Like, break it down. What's going on right now?
So right now there was like a big like hearing, like Senate hearing and stuff with some former people that have had some experience. A couple fighter pilots actually in the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Navy. They got up. They testified about having incidences. One guy, Captain. Hold on. Let me think here real quick. Captain David Fravor, who was a former pilot. And he was flying and he saw like this tic tac, and it was like it went from like something crazy like the ocean floor, or like the ocean. It was like bubbling like white water, like, but it's like right in the middle of the ocean, so there's no way it's crashing up against anything unless it's like a giant underground or underwater mountain. So like they're like, what the fuck is this? This thing goes from like sea level to like 10,000 feet in like a second, and then there's this
like
other
a
guy.
drone? Sounds like a drone. Like, well,
that nobody knows. That's the
out
thing.
of the water though, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it goes from like out of the water, bro.
Yeah,
and
you think a drone? You think a drone's
they
gonna be
take a
popped out of the
second.
water?
Talk about that for a second. So you're saying this thing? How big is it? Because I heard you say something about a tic tac.
So they're
tic tac.
Some of them describe it as like a tic tac, and basically because it's just shaped like a tic tac, kind of like oval. You know, like how it's
just more in shape, not size.
Yeah, it's in shape.
Okay.
This fighter pilot has such good vision.
How has he seen this tic tac? Okay, yeah. How big are we talking? Or like not specified, or
they're not really sure, but it's like I believe they said it's like the size of like an F-18. However big that is, I don't know, but.
So like a minivan, maybe bigger than that.
So when we get him on the cast, he'd be the guy looking up how big is an F-18. That would be the question right now. But that'll be next cast and future cast.
But yeah, and then like there's this one guy Gush who had like a security clearance, and so like a top secret like security clearance, and he said that he never saw anything, but he heard from other people within. And so like people are already like skeptical, and I'm pretty skeptical of this guy too. But yeah, the other ones, the biggest ones for me are like, you know, the like actual fighter pilots. Like if there's somebody gonna like be honest, and one guy was who's on Joe Rogan's pod, talked about it too. He was like a safety coordinator, I believe, for the Air Force too, and later on I believe he did some training stuff too. But like it started to become a problem because like there's like stories of like you know, they're out and doing training and all this stuff and like doing all these crazy maneuvers, like one, you know, little slip up going 600 miles an hour, so it actually posed like an actual safety concern. So like that's why he testified, and to me those are the most credible, is they're fighter pilots, because they're seeing them apparently off of like the coast, East Coast, near like North Carolina, South Carolina, quite a bit. So like that's the thing.
Interesting.
That's the big hype.
So that's the hot spot.
That's the hot spot. I still think we should raid Area 51, Roswell. I know people are gonna do that. Remember, call back to when they were gonna do that. The Air Force was like, "We will kill you off," but I'm like, "Let's go."
This is the point of the show. We remind you the opinions are of the
hypothetical. These are all hypothetical scenarios.
Of the guest and not reflections of the Cooked Lobster.
We're joking around, of course. No way I'm running into Area 51. I trust with my trusting and loving government.
I say, whatever happened to whoa. Whatever happened to sending all the Kyles to Area 51? Did we ever try?
What about the Karens? I'm sick of them bitches.
The Kyles, the Karens, and the Kens.
Yeah, the Kens.
And maybe the Barbies.
Oh, the Barbies. Heard that new movie's got some good hype to it, though.
I heard it sucked. But, like, I have some friends who are just kind of dickheads. So, like, I never really know until I see it myself, you know? I haven't even seen the ratings on it, because some of those people are dickheads, too, you know? Everyone's kind of a dickhead some days.
For sure.
So, you 100% believe in the aliens, yeah?
Bro, I mean, like, the odds, and, like, for me, if it wasn't for the fighter pilots, I'd be a huge skeptic. I was a big skeptic until it got into like fighter pilots actually being like, yo, like this is when like people are like, yo, this is like an actual like safety like thing. Then I'm like, okay, there's something to it. Like there's actually something to this. Like, and who knows, man? Like, I mean, there's a fucking billion, you know, solar systems in a galaxy, and there's like a trillion galaxies. The odds that someone figured out, and scientists are always like, oh well, you know, it goes against physics as we understand it, you bitch. Like,
bro, you
like,
seen Men in Black? You seen
sure.
that scene at the very end scene when they're in like a locker and there's a marble? That shit, that's what we're going through. There's no way there's not that shit's real. Like, I just don't understand. Like, if you don't think that's real, then I don't know. I think aliens. I don't know.
That's what I think. I've never seen anything in Maine, but like I'd love to like look into it. For me, like I'm not like big into conspiracy theories, like especially when it comes to like crazy shit like the paranormal, like, you know, cryptids, like Bigfoot and shit. I'm like, all right, like come on, let's get for real.
Have you ever had any paranormal like experiences or anything?
No, there's like one that I have big doubts about. I was was back when I was with my ex, and we're about to go to the following morning to my friend's wedding. And so, like, you know, I come back, it's like early morning. You know, again, this is the time when I used to work early morning. And I'm at her place, and apparently to them, the place was haunted. Now, I am a huge skeptic of hauntings because I
don't know, man. I feel like Maine. I feel like we can do episodes on some haunted shit just in Maine.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, like, let's talk about Stephen King's books, movies. You know,
that's called cocaine.
Bro,
but listen, he's the king. You know,
he is the king. There's no
king.
doubt. He's the Stephen King, my guy.
But he was also on cocaine. Like, when he wrote Carrie, he didn't even remember when he wrote Carrie. You had to be fucked up to write a novel and not remember that you wrote a novel. Like, you gotta be, like, on something, my brother.
Ah, like, dude, we all get fucked up and write a novel or two. It fucking happens, you know? That's how some of the best happen.
Yeah.
You a big Stephen King fan?
So, to be honest, and I love Stephen King, he has talked up Maine so much and made Maine not just about lobsters and, you know, blueberries and earmuffs and shit like that. But the thing with Stephen King is, one, this is everyone's big criticism of his, is that he's not good at ending a story. Like, that's one thing. And some of his books, you know, I feel like can be kind of dry. Like, the good thing I will say about him is, irregardless of the book, he always kicks it off with action. I remember reading Cell when I was in 7th grade, and the action kicked off like second page in the book. It was like legit, but like he can just kind of dry you out and kind of bore you kind of sometimes with the story. What I will say though is, like, he makes his characters so real. You know what I mean? Like,
bro, just make sure you tread lightly on what you say, because you're gonna be like in his next book. That's all I'm gonna say. Like Stephen King's. I hope he's listening to this. Podcast, you know. But dude, yeah, I do know that. So my grandmother, she read one of the books. I think we were talking about this the other night. Was it Carrie? I think it was Carrie. She was reading the book, and she was realizing the names in the book were like people she went to school with, like actual names from, like, he used like actual people's names and shit like that. And my grandfather, I think I don't know if I told you, but my grandfather went to school with Stephen King.
Really?
Yeah, just a couple of classes above him. I was like, man, that might kind of.
What school would that be?
Lisbon Falls.
Lisbon Falls. Oh shit.
Oh yeah, Lisbon. The Lisbon Hounds. They win state championship his senior year. Oh yeah, football.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
He was always kind of a weird kind of guy, but I like his stories though, and the fact that everything is interconnected some way or another is what's so cool. He even like recently made him part of his own universe. Like, he wrote himself in.
Bro, like, he kind of did like the Stan Lee of Marvel when he put himself into his own movies.
Yeah.
What you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, like, but like that's the thing, is like he has such realistic characters. Like, when you read a book, sometimes, just like when you watch TV and you watch a drama, sometimes like the characters are like, okay, that's not really what would happen. But like, he's like, the way he makes his characters, you can absolutely believe it.
Dude, like in Misery, that shit's like...
That bitch was...
Kathy Bates, dude, great actress. Oh my god, she's phenomenal. Like, all of her shit, like, especially in American Horror Story. But like, who's the guy that's in it? He's in also The Program. Who's the main
I don't know who... I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about. He's a pretty famous actor, too.
Well, practice your job and look it up.
Get the fuck out of here.
You tell me, man. You're the one that wants to, you know, do this position. But, like, yo, Misery, that shit's, like, scary as hell. He's like, that shit's, like, legitimately... Like, that shit can happen. Like, have you seen Misery at all?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I couldn't imagine... I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it or not, but, like, the ankle scene, that gets me probably the most.
We could seriously do a special on it. I could definitely see a special happening on that, or maybe even another Stephen King movie in the future, you know?
I hear something cooking up in the future. I hear something
Sprinkle a little of that in, you know? Just get a little of this, a little of that.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping it spicy, dude.
We're in the woods, so this is gonna take a second to load. Oh, actually, there it is. James Can.
Oh yeah.
He's on it.
He's
on it. That was our best hire yet. Our first hire, but our best hire.
Quick question. Someone asked us between earlier. We were talking about Stephen King with a couple people. Is Green Mile considered a horror movie?
So no, it wouldn't be. It's more a sci-fi, and that's a common theme though in his books. Is somebody will have a superpower, like Carrie. She had her powers. This guy, he had his. And
a deep thought. What was the one with Christopher Walken?
I've never seen that.
I'll do this one. You good? Continue though. Powers.
So that's a common theme. Is somebody will have some sort of paranormal power, like psychic abilities, stuff like that. But yeah, what I will say though too is like I feel bad for Stephen King because some of his stuff is like made for TV movies and are done in series, and so they aren't always as good as the books. But The Green Mile, and I think it was because I believe he was a producer and writer on the movie as well. It was very close to the actual book, and so it was a great book and it was a great movie. Tom Hanks killed it. I mean, as always. I mean, he always fucking kills it. But
Michael Duncan, bro. Cool fact. I saw that guy like in person.
Michael Duncan.
Yeah,
the guy who plays John Coffey.
John Coffey, dude, is fucking huge. Yeah. I was at his son's basketball game against the Lakers, bro. I see. So Kobe's running down the court and just fucking absolutely yams it. I'm pissed off. My dad's swearing, and I'm looking across the court, and I see this dude just stand up and going like this, and I go over and I take a picture. It's fucking Michael Duncan, and he's right behind him. I think he must have bought 3 seats because it was like him, an extra seat, and then his wife.
Yeah.
But when he went like
Huge
this, he couldn't
fan.
like see. Yeah, he's a huge LA fan. Was a huge LA fan. R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Oh,
Used to be at every single UFC event too.
Yeah, dude, that
Like
guy
every single
I
one.
love that guy.
I'd like to say too, may he rest in peace. Green Mile, Armageddon,
Oh my god, Armageddon is hilarious.
Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. Like he was just so good. He could
So
be
many.
comical. He
Did
could
everything.
be serious.
Yeah, he did so many good movies. He was him and Armageddon. I peed myself laughing in that movie.
When he's in the plane and they're going through like G-forces, and
He's like, "Yo, if I kick you in the balls, are you gonna stay on the ground, or are you gonna be floating?" But like our podcast motto is "Let's get cracking. Let's crack open those beers, my guy."
yeah. So
Crack one open for Michael
Cheers.
Duncan.
Yeah, crack one open.
What is this first one that we got? Because we are going to be sampling 3
Bright Side IPA.
by Lone Pine.
Oh,
Interesting.
7.1% horsepower.
Jesus Christ. 7.1% horsepower.
and I will be sampling this 100% lobster water.
100%.
100%.
Not for sale yet, but we may be selling some lobster water in the future. Stay tuned for that. Let's taste this Lone Pine Bright Side IPA. Let's give it a little whiff first. Smells like aluminum, like the can.
It's a light IPA. I like it because some IPAs are just hearty and they have like a strong taste and aftertaste. This is
Well
nice and
balanced.
light.
Pretty heavy on the lemon aftertaste.
I think
For 7.1 though, I would like if I was drinking this, I'd be like, oh, this is like 5%. Yeah, this will probably creep up on you. I'm gonna have a few sips of this one because I know we're sampling 3 here.
after 2, if you want, we can just split this one. It's Lawson's Finest Liquids Little Sip.
Let's talk about this one first. Let's let this one unravel on the palate real quick. What are you giving that for a score?
This is a 7.1 alcohol percent.
Yeah, 7.1 is the alcohol percent, not Ian's score. 1 to 10 with the percentages. You know the rules.
I would say
I feel like that all depends on your mood too. Like
you know what? I'm not big into IPAs, so as far as IPAs go,
Mhm.
in general, I give this a solid 8.2. It's not.
Wow.
Oh.
I'm not big into IPAs. I usually have to really be in the mood, but I could actually buy this and like when I'm chilling one night,
I like that
crush
they,
a few of these.
I like that these are high in alcohol. You can probably slam a few of these down. Got that good taste to them. Pretty well balanced. Scores a little high, but not too high. I'd give it an 8.1. That's pretty damn good.
So 8.1. I gave it 8.2. Right around the
split it,
the average.
Bro, you have a couple of those, you'd be tits up, my guy.
I'd be tanked. Yeah.
Tits up.
Oh, yeah.
7.1, that's like 2 beers in one can.
They go down really easy. That's why I'd like these,
Pretty good.
man.
Oh,
I don't know how much they cost. We appreciate the donations from California. So we thank thank you to our supporters.
Oh yeah, he's got dude, I'm actually pretty sure they had their competition. I gotta check in with that on Rip and Rosie for all those listeners out there.
Shout out to Rip and Rosie, the dog.
Yeah, my
check them out on Instagram.
My Uncle Steve's dog is a surfer for all those listeners out there. If you love cute little blonde,
pretty good,
eh? Yeah,
pretty good.
Yellow Labs. She's 2 years old and her name is Rip and Rosie on Instagram. They had a world competition for surfing. So,
damn.
Yeah, I gotta check in on that and see how she did.
Good luck to her. I hope she won. I know they're gonna have the most fun either way. I heard.
Yeah.
So let's be real here. People do not need to be in the fucking ocean. Like, what is going on here?
I 100% agree.
I think it's great that surfing. I'd love to learn how to surf, but everybody that goes along the beach and loves to surf, these pro surfers, they're like, yeah, I almost got stung by like, a man of war or like one of these crazy jellyfish and they almost die, or like they almost get eaten by a shark. It's like you could avoid all this. Like you could avoid all this right now by not being where they are.
Yeah.
Bro,
but they love it, dog. They love to play a little devil's advocate. They love it. That's like saying the safest sex is like staying home at night, and jerking off.
Yeah. Well, that is.
Yeah, but here's the thing:
just playing in your bathtub at home or something,
You can also always wear a condom. A jumpsuit does not stop a shark ripping you in half. So
he's got a solid argument there, my guy.
He does, unless I'm thinking if you had like a medieval chain suit and a shark tried to attack you, I wonder how that would end for you. Now, I know swimming in a chain suit is probably not an ideal situation, but can you just imagine a great white trying to chew through like 3 layers of fucking chain?
Here's the thing, the horsepower behind their bite is like, it would crush you anyways. So like, even if you don't get ripped in half, the bite of a great white, I mean, they'd fucking crush your arm.
Bro, I survived.
Yeah.
I survived, for all the listeners out there,
They ain't no great white, my guy.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's a shark. I know it's a shark.
It's a baby shark,
You got the baby shark bite for the visuals out there, but the audio-only listeners just got to take our word for it.
No, the real story behind that was kind of crazy. Long story short, my buddy, we were at a... Oh, geez, I gotta get my words under here. We were at a party that we threw, a food party, essentially. It was right after Nationals at wrestling at Colorado, which was pretty cool. And my buddy pushed my legs out from under me, and I fell, cut my arm on the spillover in a hot tub. Yep, and I cut all the tendons in my hand, and had 125 stitches on the inside, and 25 on the outside. Dude, my hand was like this. I was just like,
I had a cut like that on my calf because I was in middle school, we were mountain biking, and I hit a patch of sand. My leg went forward and right into the sprocket. Dang. And then they're like, Rumford Hospital. They're like, oh, you're fine. You don't need anything for it. And they're like, my mom, being a CNA, is like, well, shouldn't we at least butterfly stitches, something like that, or let's wrap it up. They're like, nah. You want it to heal, so just let the air get at it. I'm like, I'm going to get infected and have to, cut off my fucking leg. What? These fucking people. I'll show you the cut on, or the scar on my leg, but, Jesus Christ.
Bro, I love no, I didn't love this part, but the coolest part about this was, I could, actually, I was like, all right, this is, the one opportunity I could feel my bone. Dude, that thing is so fucking smooth, it's kind of wild.
How many girls have you told that is a shark bite, too?
pretty much every single one, but I stopped doing that because the real story is way better.
Over under 600.
Like people in my life, probably like the last 10 years.
No, over under 600 people that you've told that that's a shark
over.
bite to. Over under 1,000.
Oh, in college, dude, like it would be like everybody, you know how many free beers I would get to telling people like I got bit by a shark. Everyone's like, "Ooh, shark bite, hoo-ha!" It was awesome. It's
cool getting free beers for a shark bite story.
Dude, I had a great story for it, but like I said, I used my dad got stung by a stingray. That was kind of wild. I fucking hate the ocean too, but don't ever tell my uncle that. He loves the ocean, man.
It is beautiful, I will say that, but it's like also you don't need to be there.
It's fucking scary, man.
Yeah.
What's scary though, like the ocean or space?
Well, here's the thing. I'm worried that like if I go into
the
space,
cooked lobsters, by the way.
I know, but still, like, dude, I'm a lobster. I'm fucking scared of the ocean, my guy.
Here's the thing. Like, if you go into outer space and like the rocket doesn't, like, if something happens and you can't like use the rockets to turn around, you just keep going. There's nothing to stop you until like
the
so
propeller
you just
breaks and you can't take a right and you're just fucking going straight forever.
Yeah, exactly. So like a force in motion stays in motion unless there's something else slowing it down, right? So like you're just gonna keep
an asteroid fucking hit you or something.
Yeah, but so like fuck that. Yeah. Elon has to get his shit together before I wanna.
So many dumb ways to die.
But then again, like the ocean, man, like going down, like, do you see all the crazy shit down there?
Dumb ways to die.
Speaking of the Titanic sub,
imploding. James Cameron was getting a hard on when that Titanic went missing. What a story for him to write the Titanic 2 on.
Bro, the funniest shit that this guy fucking told me is that they had job applications for fucking...
Yo, yeah, they had an Indeed app. Dude, like the next day on Indeed, they're like, "Oh, looking for new submarine drivers," and it's like, yeah, no fucking shit, you're looking for new submarine drivers. You just lost a couple.
How long they wait though, at least?
Dude, I don't even think they waited a full 24 hours.
Bro, I felt bad because I didn't know about it, and I had the dab rig with the submarine, and I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna hit this and sink my mind real quick," and people were like, "Oh, that's too soon." I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because you know me, not being social media like illiterate and knowing all this shit going on, I was like, oh, oops, well, I guess that's a little bit too soon.
Here's their issue. They went into the Southwest Airlines of subs. So they fucking so that's why
shit. I love Southwest,
that's why
man.
they died. And so let's be real. You take an Uber to the fucking bottom of the ocean, bad shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean,
let's be for real though, right?
They got insurance on that submarine. Like, are they getting their money back on that? Like, is that just a business write-off to them?
They probably had to sign some document like before they went down.
Oh yeah, like, there's always some lawyer bullshit.
Cover their asses, dude. They got like a 65,000-page book they signed first.
They're probably an LLC, legal liability company. So like they have limited legality company or some shit like that.
Limited liability company.
Okay, so I had it right. But yeah.
It might be corp. Liability corp. It's either company or corp. I can't remember the last one.
But yeah, either way, basically they're limited liability. So I'm sure they didn't have to pay shit. But it's so stupid. Like,
no, they probably made a couple bucks on it. Probably had an old submarine. They got rid of it. Now they got a new one on the way.
I remember people were pissed when I was a kid because people would do stupid shit like bring a sub, land it on the fucking Titanic, and get married or something stupid. They used to do that and then pay like $500,000 or something. But they want in real subs. That's the thing. They want in real fucking submarines. So they lived. These jabronis are like, we'll fucking phone a friend or something and build one together. Fucking redneck. I could have built a sub like that. Like a guy that looks like me that has some welding under his belt probably took a fucking propane tank and just like
took a couple community college classes and said I can do this shit. Let's get it.
Yeah. I hate to be callous. I know people died, but also let's talk about the fact that his son, the day that he found out like his dad died in the submarine, went to a fucking concert. He's like, "Oh, why is everybody judging me for going to a concert?"
What concert was it?
It wasn't Taylor Swift. It might have been Taylor Swift.
If it was Taylor Swift, you're going to that concert. You ask my sister. You're finding a way to go to that concert.
But was it really that big of a deal, my guy?
If I die, I want my sister to know on record. If I die and my sister has Taylor Swift tickets that night, I want her to go to that concert.
Here's the thing.
She's gonna do it no matter what, guy.
I'm telling her, but I'm saying I want her at that concert.
I'm telling you right now. My sister also went to a Taylor Swift concert recently, and if I die and that ignorant bitch doesn't show up, fuck her.
Which one? Taylor Swift or your sister?
My sister. Fuck Taylor Swift. I don't know her, bitch. But
easy,
easy. Kanye.
Whoa.
It's
Kanye,
not like I'm Pete Davidson.
Kanye
it's not
Miller
like
over
everyone
here.
over there. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, this coffee's pretty fucking good.
Did you say you're Pete Davidson?
Yeah. Didn't he date her too?
I don't know. He's got a great track list, dude. I envy that man. I can't even remember his track list. I'm not a Kardashian dude, though. Everything before Kardashian was good, if you ask me.
Since we're kind of on current events, what do you think of like Cardi B throwing a mic at a fan? So I guess somebody threw something at her.
It was like a mixed drink.
Yeah, something like that. And so she threw a fucking mic at him, which I can't really blame her, but also at the same time, people always do that, don't they, at concerts? Like
throw mixed drinks at the performer?
Drinks, but like...
Dude, yeah, throw a water ball at Justin Bieber.
Never mind. I take that back. Either way, I agree with her. I think she had the right to fucking throw it. Like, dude, fuck him. Get out.
There's some crazy shit that happens, like, on stages and shit. They get people jump on stage. They get fucking tackled off. They get bottles thrown and shit.
Yeah. We down with Cardi B. Fuck that fan, dude. Fuck that fan. Cardi B, I hope she fucking popped him in the dome piece, you know? Well, no violence, though. No violence. She shouldn't be doing that, but, like, it's fine this one time, you know?
Are you talking about the singer or your dog?
Yo, yeah, my dog. No, my dog's good girl. Also named Cardi B. No relation.
What do you think she's doing right now?
She's probably chilling. Got her a big old bone down at the Tractor Supply. You know, one of them big old femurs. So she's probably going to town on that right now.
Bro, you know what? I gotta give it a shout out for all those listeners out there. We have one of our biggest fans out there, and it is Cardi.
Cardi?
She does listen to us quite a bit, I've been told.
Yeah, she likes listening to the podcast with me.
Especially you said when you go to work, she listens to it because she knows she can hear your voice.
Yeah.
It's a good girl.
She's a good girl.
Bro, you know what's actually kind of crazy? Did we tell you about the porcupine incident?
You did, but I never seen the video.
Oh, you didn't see the video? We'll have to put some clippets and things about that. But no, there was a porcupine that fell in the water.
Yeah, I'll move this over to you too.
Oh no, there was just a porcupine that fell in the water, and we happened to get it out.
Yeah, the porcupine got kind of trapped. It had trapped itself, and then we happened to get it off on a surfboard.
So when it fell off the dock, and you know, like when the quills go up, it went under the deck, and it got the quill stuck in the deck itself. So we had to basically, when it moved backwards, it got them in the deck. So we had to help it get out. So it got on the board, and then it got on the deck too. So it was kind of crazy. And then our neighbor saved a loon, which is wild, dude. He found a loon that was sitting on his beach that got a bunch of wiring over it, and he saved it. He got all the wiring off it, dude. He said he got pecked by that shit too. He said that shit was not fun. He said that shit hurt like hell. But that's pretty. It's been an eventful little time at Thompson.
I remember walking home. I used to work out at a school or the Y, or I'd go to the National Guard Army when I was in the National Guard. I'd work out, but either way, all those places on my walk home went by this little pond area. If you're from Sanford, you know what I'm talking about. It's by the Army, the only one in town. But I'd walk home. It was also a 45-minute walk too, Jesus Christ. And I'd walk home and there'd be geese and shit just hissing at me. I never realized how mean they are.
Dude, fucking geese are mean motherfuckers.
Dude, they're so mean.
They're
especially
so mean.
The Canadian ones.
Oh.
Them Canadian geese, guy. And you can't hit them because that would just be wrong.
That would be wrong.
On so many levels.
Yeah. You ever seen Letterkenny? There's a billion reasons why you don't want to say anything wrong about a Canadian goose, eh?
Oh yeah, no, they're majestic there, yeah.
Oh, pitter patter, eh? Dude, if the first time I saw a geese or a goose, more like it, as the word I should be saying, was the animal farm across the street from the casino.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of geese over there, and that shit was fucking... I was like, Jesus. Dude, they had a bunch of places. They had a bunch of wild goats. Pigs,
Yeah, more of a goat guy than
dude, they had a bunch of goats. The little ones that jumped around. Some of them that fell over. Some of them didn't.
Yeah, I fucking love goats. You ever see the ones online? They can do like the backflips and shit off things. Goats are hilarious.
Those parkour goats.
Yeah, they're like parkour goats, man.
Oh, then they have the goats at the disc golf course up in Sabatis. Those are the...
Yeah, if you're playing at Sabatis, the very last hole, right before you shoot, you'll see a couple friendly goats. Quite a few of them sometimes. You never know, actually. They got quite a few goats sometimes.
Bro, they'd save a shit ton of money on gas if they can train their goats to, like, just mow all the fields. Just without doing all that lawn mowing. Just get the goats to train them just to eat all the grass perfectly.
You can also get goat's milk, cheese from goats. Goats are great to have. When COVID happened, me and my buddy, we started like a little bit of homesteading. We were going to get into it, but things happened here and there and never got around to it. But we did have chickens, and we're thinking about getting goats. And it's honestly something I recommend. If you can have chickens, get chickens. Save yourself a little bit of money on eggs. Get some meat hens. Good eating. I actually gave you one time.
Oh, it was pretty good. It was actually pretty damn good.
Gave you a chicken?
Yeah, he gave me a whole chicken. My mom was like...
Yeah, we killed it and all that shit ourselves, but it was...
Yeah, I was inside and my mom walks in. She's like, Ian dropped off a chicken. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, he just dropped off a bag and there was a whole chicken in it. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's
honestly, the grossest thing was not gutting it. The grossest thing was like defeathering it, because they roll around in their own shit and it's terrible. But defeathering it,
you put like the wax. How's that process go? You put like the wax on them and then you pull the feathers off.
No.
Bro,
no, that's how you do like duck and shit.
So what happens is ducks are a little different because their feathers are a little bit thicker because they go in water. So like with chickens, what you do is you just grab them, and there's obviously different ways of doing this. We strung them up by their feet. It looked crazy because like, Jesus Christ, I heard your back. And then like you have like a little noose, you strap their feet up, they flap around or whatever, and then you just either cut their head off if you can, or just cut open their throat. It's a little weird at first.
It's a little steamy, it's a little gory.
Yes.
Steamy. Yeah.
But I also like never really felt bad for chickens, because chickens are just mean motherfuckers.
Yeah, I don't like chickens.
And they don't think about anything. They're just stupid.
Chickens are cocks.
Chickens. You don't really eat roosters. But like,
what are you giggling at over there, guy?
Oh, you giggling at over there,
guy? I see you giggling your ass off, giggly bits. That's why I'm laughing over here.
You have to get like the water boiling too, to a certain temp, and like little like bubbles. They can't be rolling boil. And then, because if it's too high, then the feathers will be hard to rip off, and if it's too low, then it'll be also hard to rip off. So like, you have to like right temp, and they basically come off themselves a little bit, just a little bit of force, and then like you have to like gut them. We have to like open up the chest and then like the back and all this and rip out their guts, and it was a process, but it was good eating. And it was, I mean, we got like meat hens, which are the same ones like if you go to a rotisserie at your local store, all that. But it tasted good, it was just chicken, but I like doing it because like I could actually provide for everyone, and like my friends, family, shit like that. So
you felt like accomplished as hell, like that you're like, yo,
yeah,
this is mine.
Yeah. And also like it's one of those things you hear a million times from people who hunt, or people who have their own farm, like where the food comes from, all that stuff.
Did you ever have any robbers? Because I heard with chickens, man, you got a lot of thieves.
Well,
no, coyotes.
You got a lot of like foxes and raccoons and shit like that.
Well, after I left, over the course of time, raccoons and like foxes have decimated the entirety of our chickens. So they're all dead now because they're viciously mauled. And
Damn.
yeah, they all died.
God damn,
Nature-
the animal world is cruel sometimes, my
Which
guy.
is why people are like, oh no, you should like
Sponsored by Lobster
know,
Water.
no cage farming, just let the animals out. I'm like, bitch, they're all gonna get eaten. Like life, watch nature as metal. Like a hawk will swoop down and take one out, and unfortunately, one of our favorite roosters, Brewster, the rooster, died. And so like,
Isn't it so funny how if like certain animals, like if an eagle swarms down and pulls a fish right out of the lake, it's like majestic. But if a bear like takes down like a moose or something, people are like, oh, Jesus Christ, it's just fucking tearing it apart.
well, because they eat animals basically as they are dying. They don't just like kill it like a tiger. They eat it as it's alive. So it's like getting its
it's
stomach
pretty-
ripped open as this bear's just having its dinner.
It's just
like,
funny what we decide is majestic and what we decide is gruesome. There's like gotta be a funny line somewhere.
yeah.
Depends who you ask, for
Is
sure.
it funny if the eagle swoops down and takes like a bunny rabbit? Like a cute little one hopping along?
That's
I
fucking
actually seen
nature,
something
guy.
like that.
It's nature,
It's fucking
dude.
nature, guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
It's not like a guy going to a bank and robbing it. That's a completely different story. Like
No,
that
it's
eagle,
just-
that eagle is just trying to survive. That guy is just like trying to get more money cheap.
the eagles are kind of dicks if you look at it. They're kind of the dicks of the nature world.
Are you talking about Philly?
I'm just talking about eagles.
It happens to match Philly fans.
I mean, I'm just talking about eagles, you know?
I'm just kidding. My boss is a super big Phillies fan. He loves the Eagles, my guy. But no.
Yeah. No, I was at football practice when I was in high school and watched as like a falcon or some shit swooped down and picked up like a small like varmint, like a chipmunk or some shit, and just fly away with it. It was the most gnarly shit I've ever seen. It was just like right in the middle and everybody saw it. We're like, holy shit.
Jesus.
Yeah, bro.
Have the nature moment right there.
Yeah, bro. Majestic. No, but like, I don't know. I'd rather just like, if I were to go out and get eaten by any animal, it would be something like so quick, like a tiger, where I'm just like chilling, and the next thing you know, I'm just my head's ripped off.
You want to get mauled by a tiger?
Oh yeah.
We know it won't be an ocean animal because you're staying out of the ocean.
Fuck that
Yo,
shit.
fuck the ocean, my
Fuck
guy.
the ocean.
Fuck-
No.
Dude,
no.
we talked about this on the last episode with Gus too. It's like lakes or oceans. Were you a lake guy or an ocean guy?
Oh, lake.
Yeah, 100%. There's just so much better things you could do with a lake than an ocean.
I take the ocean.
Yeah, you gotta have a specific boat and shit like that. It's like you gotta not be a complete dumbass, and then it's like, oh, if you hit something, it's like not a rock. It could be actually like a fucking giant fucking fish. Oh, let me just jump in the water to cool off. Oh wait, there's a giant 15-foot like giant great white shark right there. I've seen all those videos on TikTok and shit.
Yeah,
like
you've
this.
seen too much fucking Jaws as well. You've seen too much.
2 minutes of Jaws, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Dude, they're coming out to the coast in Maine. They've been spotted quite a bit. There's been quite a few spottings in Maine. Was it Kennebunkport or
Somewhere around there.
something like that?
Like
Yeah.
around OB, Kennebunkport.
Dude, more people die every year from vending machines falling on them than shark attacks.
Yeah, because people are always around vending machines.
Well, people are fucking dumbasses too, but
That's true. I don't understand these people who are like, let me just shake this thing as hard as I can. Maybe I can get it out. Like, it never works.
Bro, you gotta admit though how fucking pissed you are when that shit happens to you.
Yes,
So don't even say that
100%.
shit. Now be on that
100%.
side.
tipping that machine trying to get your fucking Dr.
Has
Pip
that ever
out.
happened to you? Have you ever had one of those moments?
No, I
Well,
very,
once or twice,
I
but like,
very
Once or
rarely use
twice
vending
even.
machines.
yeah, I don't go to vending machines all the time.
I never go to vending machines. When I worked at TD, I don't think I ever used it.
No, use that coffee machine though.
Yeah, that free coffee, dude.
That free coffee was
I got my
good.
money's worth, dude. I got one to go home every day. Hell yeah, dude. I'd drink like 12, 15 coffees just for fun. I try to set
Yeah.
a record. How many coffees can I drink?
Dude, you gotta stay awake doing that job, my man.
Yeah, you wouldn't sleep because you just hate your job. So you'd be like, fuck, you gotta drink all them coffees to get through it.
Bro, some of the time, like some of the stories that Ian and I used to have when we worked the late night shifts, dude, him and I, like, were in the same training class too,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah, it's
crazy.
funny.
Which is crazy.
Back then. That was
corporate training's great.
Anytime after 12 o'clock, we would look at each other and be like, yo, what do these guys like snort for breakfast? Because these guys would just be like, all right, can we have your account number, card number, social? It's like 5479895. I'm like, geez, whoa, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. What did you do before you called in here? Like,
how about when
breakfast?
COVID happened and the wait time was how long?
Oh,
3 hours?
So we looked in the queue and there was just like 4,000 people just waiting. They're like, what's the goddamn problem? Why are we waiting so long? I'm like, I don't know. We're in this thing called a pandemic. Like, what do you fucking think?
That's
guys?
no excuse. Everybody's using that as an excuse. It's like, well, I'm sorry that none of our branches are open, so everyone's calling
My
in.
favorite one is, you should hire more people. No shit. No fucking shit.
Let me hand this over to someone who can actually do something about it, you fuck.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Let me transfer you to someone that gives a fuck.
Oh, let me tell you what. I was on a 2-hour hold time today with fucking Google to fix something, like an email thing. The guy was like, you know what? Let me get you to the right department. Transfers my ass to a automated system, and there was 3 options, and none of the options were mine. Then it says, all right, goodbye. Fucking had 2 hours at waiting, man. I was fucking I was here with Ian, man, when that shit happened. I was so pissed. I was trying to fix an email. Dude, you know how complicated.
And I told him too this was gonna happen.
Dude, we made
like
bets.
this.
It was like, yo, do you think the call's gonna drop, or do you think he's gonna just like randomly end?
People at Google don't even have a real fucking job. They just sit around and lounge around all day and put in 6 hours of work and claim they work 40 hours a week, get paid on their little salary, take their little videos. Dude, that's not a real job.
Bro, I think they just made the movie The Internship with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson just to make it seem like they actually like they actually do some work down there, you know? It's a great classic movie, great comedians.
I love how Elon Musk came right into Twitter and cut like most of the staff and was like, yeah, see, you don't need that much to run a social media company.
As he's running it into the ground. Stocks are like worth nothing now, but yeah. I mean,
works. He's training right now. He's training for
a fight right now.
I heard he's like getting some upgrades, you know? He's building the...
Do you hear anything about that fight, Ian?
Yeah, here's the thing. I think Marcus Zuckerberg is going to take it for sure. Because, first off, look at Elon. He hasn't even seen the sun in a fucking year. So, like, he has done no training. He's super smart, but Mark has actually trained, like, jiu-jitsu. So, at least he has something. Like, I just don't see Elon taking it away.
Watch Elon just come in like a week before, just like diesel the fuck out, just like ready to go.
Just roided up.
He just pulls the James Harden, wears a fat suit the whole fucking time, and then gets traded like right before game day, and he's like, "Yo, I'm actually ready to go."
Pulls a Patty Pimblett, go from fat to like in shape.
That's fucking. You said that. We talked about that last episode too. Jake Paul said he would call him out, which is ridiculous for a UFC fight.
Yeah, Jake Paul's fighting Nate Diaz. Probably the result of that will already happen by the time this cast is released.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what happened there.
I think we all know who's going to win that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. If they were back in their primes, though.
Can we talk about the Jake brothers fighting these people who are never actual boxers?
The Paul brothers.
The Paul brothers.
Yeah.
Jake and Logan Paul is who you're referring to.
For those wondering, I was extremely high before this, so I'm still coming back.
and he still is.
Yeah.
Speaking of that.
There you go. But no, like it was the Paul brothers are fighting these people who are never boxers and who are like out of their prime, and they're like, oh. Look, they're legit boxers. They'll beat the fuck out of me. But, like, let's real talk for a second.
You know
they're
what?
They're fighting people who aren't really boxers, and they're out of their prime.
You might want to speak that in the mic when you say that.
You're going to want to speak in the mic. Because, you know, I'm going to disagree. Yeah, hot take. It's about to heat up in here.
Yeah.
And
you were just saying there was going to be no hot takes coming into this one.
Gerardo knows me. I love good old boxing match. Been watching boxing for years, way before the Paul brothers ever existed. Now, initially, everyone kind of thought it was kind of a cancer for the sport, but the sport was kind of going nowhere. And it's widely accepted that the sport was going nowhere, especially for females. But males that weren't in the top 1% of boxing were also going nowhere. It's not like it was anything. It was already a ghost of a sport. Now, Paul did start off by fighting, a couple of YouTubers or something? Whatever. Dismissed that. And then, who'd he come out? He beat Nate Robinson. At least an athlete.
Oh my god, dude. That doesn't even count, though.
Yeah. I agree. Dismiss that. And then, he came out and fought Ben Askren. Ben Askren actually had some clout. He's a striker. Did it for a living.
Yeah, striking the mat with his
No, I
face.
mean, like, he possibly can strike. I'm not saying he's a good striker. I'm saying he's striker, Knocked him out in, 40 seconds, if that. I don't remember the time.
That's fast.
Go ahead. Yeah, cut in before I talk 4 paragraphs.
No, the only reason I want to cut in is because you have to understand Ben Askren was basically a wrestler who got really good at, defense and trying to avoid getting hit. He never really got hit much when he was fighting. He was a really good wrestler. He was kind of like a Khabib, but instead of in UFC, he was in one championship or something like that. So
Khabib would fuck that dude up to another.
Oh, Khabib though.
Keep it the fuck ass.
I watched this whole thing on Khabib. I don't want to get into it. I just want to finish my thought real quick. But
of course.
Ben Askren was a terrible pick. He just was not known for stand up.
Terrible pick for Ben Askren. It was a great pick for Jake Paul.
Yeah, to get, I guess, clout and get,
get his way in.
Yeah, but from a fight, there's the actual sport side of it, and then there's the business and for him. For him, yes, I guess that was a great way to get into it. But for the sport, though, if I were to match him up with someone, it wouldn't be that. You wanna?
But moving on. I wasn't done with that yet.
Yeah.
So, that's what the naysayers were saying. And then next, who'd he move on and fight? He fought Woodley.
That's what I was just saying.
Woodley.
Can you pass me that Sharpie blade?
And he can bang, yeah.
Woodley can bang.
No, there's Sharpie.
This?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, Woodley can't. Dude,
Woodley can bang.
He used to be a champ at the time at one point. Wasn't he, what? Yeah.
Yeah, Woodley can bang. Absolutely can bang.
100%.
Beat him twice. Pretty decisively. No real questions, debates. Beat him twice. Then who'd he fight? I think that was...
Tommy Fury.
Then he fought Tommy Fury. Split decision. That's probably the most controversial decision of the year. Very, very controversial.
I did win money at that time.
Yeah, Edrader did, but I won. But whatever, who cares? But it was very controversial. He could have won that fight against Tommy Fury. Now Tommy Fury looked great, and there was all kinds of controversy on a few different rounds. But Jake Paul easily could have won that fight. So I think he's a lot better than anyone gives him any.
I think he's a great boxer, but I don't think he's actual boxing professional level. You know what I mean? He's not going to go up against.
Is he the top 1% of boxers right now? No, he's not one of the top 1% of boxers, but he is good for the sport, and his promotion specifically has brought female boxing to the mainstream and has helped sell out Madison Square Garden, which has never happened from a female-led production.
I will say a lot of fights still have stagnated. My issue with boxing is there's not many exciting people to watch fight. There's that one guy, the redheaded Mexican guy, that's really good.
Well, did you watch Rough and Rowdy with us?
Yes, I watched one.
What'd you think of watching Rough and Rowdy? Your honest opinion.
It was so, I like it, but I hate it. I like it because it is just basically street beefs, right? Just let's settle this shit, and then it's yeah. But my issue though is some of these people, I don't know,
are complete ragamuffins. 100%.
If one guy did a judo throw on someone, I'm what the fuck is this? How is he even still fighting? The refs didn't do anything.
Shit,
everyone
was
just
right. That guy straight hip checked that
They
motherfucker.
took some points away. They did take some points or something.
1 point, but
he still won though. You still won.
And I thought that was bullshit. It's like, bro, like...
Give the fans what they want, though. The commentating's great.
Yeah. I want one of these Paul brothers to actually go into the fucking octagon. And
They are. Logan signed a contract.
But is he going in the octagon? Is he going to wrestle?
Yes, he's doing to the UFC. He just signed a contract. I'm pretty fucking sure about that.
I feel like this is going to be like a CM Punk.
That would be one of those moments where you're going to have to fact check here in the future when Jodder talks some cap. He might not be cap, but I'm guessing... I don't know.
It's either that or he's still got a contract with the WWE. He's making so much money in that right now. It's insane.
So, if you don't mind... I was just, I've kind of already talked to you about it. But I want to kind of also know your opinion too,
Keeping
Ryan. Secrets?
No.
So, I watched this thing called Anatomy of a Fighter. And this guy follows around fighters.
I've seen a little bit of that, yeah.
Have you seen any about Khabib?
No, I do not.
So, he has, like, a bunch of series on, like, all these Dagestani fighters. He also has somewhere like people like Khabib will just randomly be there. Like he went to one event in Kazakhstan and did a thing and Khabib showed up. But like, it's amazing. It's so obvious though that he's a champion. I remember listening to Joe Rogan talk about this actually recently because Khabib, out of all the fights he won, and this is Joe Rogan's opinion, and maybe you can put in your 2 cents about this, Ryan, is that Khabib he never lost a fight, but he only really lost like 2 rounds in his career, according to Joe Rogan. So like he was just so dominant. Exactly. Yeah, so he's so dominant. And
how long was his reign though? Like what's the critique?
Well, 29-0.
Can you name, like, people wouldn't even recognize the name, though, of 20 plus of those fighters he fought?
Justin Gaethje,
Conor McGregor.
We can throw 9 in. Oh, I'm saying you can maybe throw 9 in, but, like, he's got a 20 who's in there.
Like, everyone on the top. Everyone. Like, you can...
How many title defenses?
At least 4 or 5?
Something like that. Because, like, he also won up a weight class, too, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't like Conor McGregor who had both belts at the same time.
That's true. But still, though, the fact that he went from one belt to the other, and you watch this, and, like, the only thing these people do is, like, they get up, they pray, they train.
And then wrestle bears.
I have seen the videos of them wrestling bears. It's absolutely wild.
These people do not give a fuck. These people are just fucking hardcore. And because they're so disciplined in everything they do. And there's also like a lot of humility about them, which is why I think they're so good, because they never like have this attitude of, oh, I know what I'm doing, I don't know why you're telling me this. They're always just constantly just learning, and they're just always so disciplined. That like I watched that, I'm like, oh, of course there's all these Dagestani fighters.
Yeah.
But like you should watch it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That level of discipline that it takes to be like that level of champion is absolutely insane. And to stay on top, it's always like the saying, it's like it's not about like getting there, it's about maintaining it there.
But I mean 29-0.
Jones did that shit for a hot sec.
John Jones Bones.
His fight's official now in November. It's official.
I love watching him. He's gonna win. I already know. Put your money on him. I didn't even hear who he's fighting. I was just gonna say, there's no one out there you can put that I'm gonna bet against him on.
The one that's coming up, we always be coming up for those New England people that do listen to us. If you're in the Boston area, tune into the Garden on August 19th for the UFC fight with Sterling versus Sean O'Malley.
Now that is a fight. Now this isn't like a UFC podcast where we're gonna like go in depth in fights, but this is a fight that I am personally very excited to see. I love Sean O'Malley. The Sugar Show, baby. Like, he puts on a little show. He kind of looks like a clown, but, like, you got to do your thing. Like, we all got our own thing going on here. Some people say I look like a clown out there. They can go fuck themselves.
I have to say, though, that, like, he shouldn't be here, though. Like, not, like, he lost the guy he fought last time clearly won.
Peter Yan.
Peter Yan.
Yeah.
think this is a good time where we'll sample a second beer here. Next, we got the Sebago Brewing Company. I'm assuming out of Sebago. This is their beer called Haze Forward. FWD, Haze Forward.
6.7% horsepower.
6.7% horsepower in this pint.
Did you guys finish your other beers first, or?
No, bro. I'm not going to finish all this shit. Are you kidding me?
It's just down to the spit sip, you know? Let's crack this.
I finished like half of it, though.
I'll allow you to go first after I open this. Let it breathe for a second, brother. Give her a big old sip.
Give me a second, brother.
Nice guzzle there.
Really you gotta make sure that.
What am I gonna expect here? Light again. The last one I thought was medium. I wouldn't call it light. Like the last
When you
one.
say like, what do you mean by like light? Like
it's
medium?
not a hearty taste like a Guinness. It's kind of hearty. It's kind of
But like a brown where it has like a lot of the nut like fullness to it.
Here's the thing. It doesn't really have an aftertaste.
Can I smell it?
Yeah, smell.
That one's more hop forward. I see what they
It's
mean.
a weird thing for me to do. Like, you're gonna smell your drink.
Well, the smell is important because you smell it before you taste it.
Yeah, Ryan, you can admit to that though. Like with being in the cannabis industry, like if you don't like the smell of it, you're not gonna be attracted to like what you're smoking.
No, generally, if you're like smelling, you're looking for certain terpenes or certain like smells, because usually you can associate certain effects with certain smells.
It's kind of
so if you're getting like
citrusy.
nothing, if you get like nothing at all, like especially when you're smelling cannabis, you're probably looking at getting just about no effect at all. So it's just like on the way she goes. Yeah, this is very like piney hops. I don't like it. It's almost like seltzery. It's like
it?
no.
It is kind of.
I don't like it.
Does not. Do you get an aftertaste at all? I don't get shit. It's like you taste it and then it's done. It's a good beer. I'd give it like
It's all right.
7.5. It's a good beer, but it's not. This is better. Like this is.
I didn't like it. I do apologize. Hope I don't offend anyone. I'll give it like a 5.1.
Really?
I wouldn't trash on it or anything. It's probably a good beer. It's probably, different strokes for different folks.
If I may point out, though, it's 6.7% alcohol. So the fact that it tastes the way it does with that much, I feel like...
Does it taste
Well,
tropical?
To me, it's like... It's almost like it doesn't come together to me. Like, I taste like... It's kind of piney. It's kind of got like a little like... But it's almost like a watered down piney kind of like gin taste almost.
Amarillo.
So it's just not my cup of tea. But I can definitely see someone liking it. I don't think it's a bad product. I just don't think it hits the like what I like to taste.
Made in Maine.
I like with IPAs when you can get other like subtle or deeper flavors like a grapefruit or like something citrusy or something sweet to complement it. But that one was like very pine forward.
See, here's the thing, though. I think that's the difference between me and you because, like, I like dark roasted coffee. I like the flavor, even the bitterness.
I prefer blonde roasted coffee because I like to wake the fuck up quick. There's a lot more caffeine in blonde roasted coffee. A lot of people think dark roast has more caffeine in it, but the more you roast your beans, the more caffeine you roast out of them.
Just a shout out to Sebago Brewing for that beer right there. Just a fun fact right out of for 'em. Just had to put that out there, but back to the dark roast coffee. But didn't you say something about like dark roast and light roast? Like it's like the opposite of what people really think.
Yeah, most people think that. That's what I just said. I said most people think that dark roast has more caffeine in it, where it's quite the contrary. It has a lot less because the more you cook your beans, the darker the beans get, the darker the roast. That's the more caffeine that you're cooking out of it before you're even getting it into your cup.
Gotcha. Sorry, I missed that. I was definitely reading too much in depth of that labeling.
Much to it.
You know what I mean? It's almost too light. It's almost got like a seltziness to it.
But it's still good. But it's like, I don't know. IPAs are kind of supposed to be a little bit bold, anyways. They kind of have like a flavor about them.
They can go a few different ways. No, that's a New England style IPA. I have not a fucking clue what that means. But like to somebody, like we can get Jared back. We'll definitely get Jared back
Jared
on the
from
cast.
episode 1 for sure.
And you know Jared very well. Jared
Best beers are. This man can brew.
Yeah, he can brew, but I bet if you quiz him one question, you come
Oh.
on and be like, "What's the difference? Like, what makes the New
100%.
England IPA?" He'd be right on it. Like, he is fantastic.
Ooh, that would be something we should do with him. Is to do like a beer trivia with Jared.
Blind taste test.
Oh, we should definitely do that.
Oh,
Thank you for that heads up on that one.
I'll play along.
Yeah, if he gets 5 for 5,
Drotter will host it, kind of, you know.
5 for 5, $20 on the line, and see if he does it.
$20 of Drotter's money again on the line.
You
Remember the game?
Oh yeah, the lobster money. That's always a good time.
You owe me lobster money.
Oh, you owe me lobster money. It's always a great line. Dude, Ted, great movie. Great movie.
Classic line.
But no, I think Jared could do it though. 5 for 5, I think he could. He's pretty good at it. But like, he grows his own beer. That's dangerous. A guy that grows his own beer definitely knows like what he's doing, like his taste.
Grows his own what?
Grows his own beer.
I mean, brews.
Brews.
Grows his own beer?
Yeah, he grows his own hops.
Yeah, he grows his own hops.
Oh, my bad.
Makes his own beer. I'm like, he grows his own beer.
You know, I'm skipping the middleman.
Skipping
I'm just
a few
getting to
generations.
I'm skipping all the fucking shit.
I
in the
think
middle.
you guys, what you two should do is like either do like a blind taste test of like fast food places around here or Maine restaurants around here, or maybe do like a comparison where like what we're doing here but with like Maine restaurants around here, and be like, all right, what do you think of this dish? What do you think of this?
My taste buds are shit, but I'm down to eat some food. But like, I'm totally game. But as long as there's like, we make sure there's nothing that's gonna kill either of us for allergy wise, we're pretty set for that.
100%. Luckily, I'm
Amen.
not allergic.
Yeah,
to
I
shit,
was.
so.
Anyway. Yeah.
What?
What
You're
was that?
geeking out over there.
So the beers are catching on. I was looking at our last beer contender here. This is the Little Sip IPA from Lawson's Finest Liquids.
The Little Miss Sunshine of beers.
6.2, so this is lighter than the other two.
We went strongest to weakest. I don't know if that was the strategy on purpose or if this just happened to be the order we opened them in. I'll open it again. Let you do.
You gotta do it right. Oh.
Oh, just love that sound. I wish I had another one just to open just for the sound again.
Didn't even take a sip of it yet.
Nah, you gotta be polite.
A light smell, not much.
Smells like aluminum. Thoughts on your first sip there?
Stronger flavor for sure. A little bit of an aftertaste, kind of citrusy, kind of.
taste.
Exactly. I like it. It's not. I maybe a little bit more than the other one.
That's just the bee's knees.
That's a bee's knees.
That's just the bee's knees, my guy. That is pretty good. That's like a very, like, I guess you could say robust. Got a full flavor. I was like, that's good. It's like got a little bit of everything going. Like a really
popping.
That is good.
I don't think it's much better than the Sebago one, but it is better. I would give it. It's not an 8 for me. I'd give it like a 7.7.
Dude, this is gas. What is this?
You like it?
Yeah, dude. Where's this come from?
I should say on the bottom.
What state?
Did it
is
say
this?
Lawson on the front?
Is this a Maine beer before we shout out the wrong company? Or Maine, Vermont? Oh, dude, this came from Vermont, dude. Vermont's got some fine liquids up there, too.
Oh,
yeah,
that's when
dude.
my cousin did that.
No, shit, dude. This came out of, dude, this is, like, absolutely fantastic.
Oh, damn.
I didn't
You
see
do
that
like
coming.
your Vermont stuff, though.
I do love the Vermont stuff. Dude, that's fantastic. It almost got, like, a grapefruit aftertaste, like a full IPA taste, but, like, full in the sense that, like, it's got a full flavor. a lot more flavor than that Sebago one, dude. That's like one of the best IPAs I've ever had. That came out of absolutely nowhere. One of my all-time favorites is Flume, and you can get that down in Portland. I can't remember the company. I want to say it was Battery Steel. It's right in, there's like I call them dispensaries, alcohol dispensaries as I call them, right in Portland, right where Allagash is.
Yeah. Breathe, my guy, breathe.
I believe that's where you can get the Flume. Can you try that again? I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
He's like, yo, if you don't drink that, I'm going to drink the whole damn thing.
I was like just planning on having a sip, like I kind of do.
It's stronger IPA taste.
What's your rating on that?
7.7. I gave this
What do you think it's a 9,
8.5, 7.7, 7.5.
Bro, that's a 9.6. That's the gold fucking standard right there.
It has too much of that IPA taste to it.
If your cousin goes back up to Vermont, is this what she'd be going up to Vermont to get to? This stuff's fire, dude.
She happened to be doing like doing something for my cousin Lauren Cormier. Shout out to my cousin. Hey Lauren, for those listeners out there.
What up if you're listening?
Oh, she's definitely a subscriber. Always crazy when she comes out. But she went out there for her work, for her accounting job. And then she, my uncle happened to know she was out there, and he's like, "Yo, can you grab me some beers while you're out there?" So, and knowing my uncle, he's a big beer guy. So he loves his IPAs. Hence, why we got some out here today. So the guy that does the Rip and Rosie. So,
bro, this, I don't know.
Do you like
I'm shocked you gave this 5.1.
Do you like that one better?
Yeah. No, I like this one a lot. I like this one more than this one. But I gave this a 7.5. You gave it a 5.1.
Would you like me to give it another one? Another review?
No, you're good. I mean, what you said is what you said.
I agree that I should go first review, because that's only fair. But let me revisit. Maybe it's got to be colder. I don't know. Maybe this one works better at the temperature it's at. Like, they're both pretty cold, though. I'm not gonna lie. Drotter did a really good job of keeping them cold. Like,
yeah, they're pretty cold. They're as cold as it was gonna get. It might taste different now because it's warmer.
You got sodas over here too, if you want those. I got grape, and then I got orange.
Oh, I'd love an orange soda.
You want an orange soda?
You know, it's very earthy.
Ryan, do you want any soda?
I don't love it. Any soda?
You want a orange or grape soda?
Oh, the orange or grape, just none of that stinking root beer. Jeez.
Oh my gosh, man. My dad, he told me, R.I.P. my dad, before he passed, he's like, oh, I want to always watch Slapshot. Never was on for like literally the whole time. Literally like right after he passed, like there was none on like Netflix since like 2018, and they finally put it on, and I was like, Ryan, we gotta watch this. I've never seen it. He's like, bro, you've never seen Slapshot? That
one
movie
of my
is
favorites.
Fucking hilarious, dude. I'm peeing myself laughing how old this shit is. He's like, oh, that stinking root beer.
Yeah. No, that's my favorite line from the movie. It's just like so stupid, but if you like that line in the movie, like you'll just love the movie.
The classic movies are great, man. They're definitely great. Oh, there's a lemon lime. Or do you want?
Oh no, I'm good on the soda. I just wanted to yell no stinking root beer.
Oh no.
But no, this has been a great celebration here. It's great to have you on the cast, Ian, and get you on.
Absolutely.
You know, the executive editor.
Jamie to the podcast.
You know, that's a fancy title.
Up, bring my laptop over, look stuff up. Yeah, be good times.
Let the people get to know you a little bit. One last thing before we go. What's one thing that people need to know that you feel that you haven't said yet today? And I'll take a seat back here.
That I haven't said?
As my mom would say, what do you bring to the table?
What do I bring to the table? I bring to the table what Donald Trump brought to America. You know what that is?
I'd rather not answer that question.
I'm waiting.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Reverse Uno reverse card, double
Everyone's
reverse.
like listening. He's like, oh, shit.
Everyone's like,
this
is the big moment. This is the big moment. The Cooked Lobsters are about to tell us which way to vote. Oh, here it comes. No, reverse.
No.
And I'll reverse the Uno card back to you again, Ian.
So, I mean, look, I know you guys. I know how you act. I know what... I think we go along together great. We're always... For the listeners, like, basically on a Saturday night, usually we're all hanging out together anyways. So I know, you guys. I know how you probably want stuff done. There's that. And also, I live conveniently around the corner. So this
around that block, baby.
So it's not like, it's a hike away. I can show up anytime. But yeah, I mean,
it's hard talking about yourself sometimes,
Yeah, it's like, I mean,
we can make it
what
easier
do you want me
for
to...
you. How about you tell the listeners about something about Ryan, and then you can tell something about us, and we can do the same thing about you.
Oh, a sneaky fact. What's
Yeah.
one? Our sneaky facts segment that we'll end it with.
I don't think, I mean, you guys pretty much the
the
same. Yeah, you guys are pretty much the same here as you are outside, which is why I think you guys will blow up to be a great podcast. Not just hopefully a Maine podcast, hopefully not just a New England podcast, but a big podcast. Like all the big ones, Theo Vaughn's very popular, Your Mom's House with Tom Segura and his wife. Like, I think you guys definitely have that potential, especially because this is a stoner podcast. I mean, how many are really out there like this? But also, I think we have big ambitions for the listeners and watchers behind the scenes. We've been talking. I've been giving these guys ideas. They've been bouncing ideas off of me. So, we have some big ideas, hopefully, for... I brought this up before. This is something we'll still have to talk about, but we might get a little bit more into Maine politics and politics in general. To a certain extent, I'm sure these guys... again, I'm only the producer, and I'm a friend of these guys, so... we bounce ideas off each other, but I know some people that have been into politics, local and state level politics. So maybe a little bit more like that, a little bit more, hopefully traveling around and some exciting stuff going on.
I'm fucking tickled pink over here, guy. Just listen to that. I was kind of like cheesing like a pizza over here, my guy, when you're talking.
Super excited. And we got a little something. Super very light hint here, but we got something working with some local politicians right now too.
Oh, we got
some local politicians. We're trying to honor a legend. Oh, maybe a little too much said, maybe not enough.
But no,
said.
it's kind of funny that
It's all kind of meshes together.
I'm kind of glad you said that because we talked about boxing.
Yeah,
so
we did talk a little bit about boxing.
That'd be the only hint we get to our listeners about
some competitions as well.
No.
Yeah, we're not gonna let you go without talking about the competition real quick.
Oh, it's not even a competition. It's just
so. And this is actually something. Hopefully, I'm not taking this away from you. But this is something we're kind of talking about before this. Is like obviously, we have a rough idea of what we want to talk about. We want it to flow, so it's not like we just want to have like hard stops. But me and Ryan, and have been talking quite a bit because. I don't know if you actually brought up. This is something I don't think you brought up. Well, I take this back. You obviously have. But you're a chef, right? You're a chef for like 10 years, you're telling me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And these two have gotten me into Hell's Kitchen. And I'm like a big fan now. And I've been talking to this guy about, I'm pointing to Ryan, for the listeners, excuse me, about like the realities of cooking. And I wanted to ask you, like, all this crazy shit of like yelling, all this stuff. I don't know if you guys have watched The Bear on Hulu. I have. And like there's some scenes where like, guys just talking down to a guy, like basically you should just kill yourself. Crazy shit like that. How often does that really happen? How realistic is that?
So the finer the restaurant, usually the meaner people are. And like you gotta understand, there's a lot of chefs, and these aren't like I'm not talking Maine chefs necessarily, like, but there's a lot of chefs out there in the world that are like very strung out. They work like 80 plus hours a week. They like have at least one or two drug addictions rocking at the same time, like bunch of cocaine to get through the day,
Jesus.
something to get them down at the end of the night.
Yeah,
Like
uppers and lowers.
it's a nasty world when you get to the like
It's a rough world.
fine dining and that kind of shit. Like you bring in not really enough money to support any of those habits. It's like it's kind of awful. But that's like how it goes some places.
Yeah.
It's how Ryan and I actually kind of met more a little bit. It was actually in the cooking industry.
Yeah, we were like 18 years old working at Cindy's Dockside in Poland, Maine.
Yeah, right out of high school was my first,
Really?
it was my first job. I worked with him on a City's Dockside, and I was a fry cook. It was I had no idea what the fuck I was doing.
No, he
But
never did.
But
Yeah.
I tell you what, they didn't give a shit because the amount of people I brought in, because the amount of people I knew. A lot of people would just come in. Like, oh, we're doing a lot of business. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but I tell you what,
Jesus.
He'd be half the time outside flirting with the girls, not even fucking working, and be like, yo, anyone got that fried shrimp? And it's like, nah, the fry guy's outside flirting with some girls.
yeah, we had shrimp.
He probably didn't even know he had shrimp. He's like,
And then
yo.
we had haddock, and then we had fucking some other shit.
But is it that chaotic? Like you watch Hell's Kitchen, you watch like all these chef shows. Like I said, The Bear for those who have Hulu and have watched it, and it's like sometimes it's just sheer chaos, people running around. And I have a little bit. I was a dishwasher while I was going through a trade school, but like it doesn't seem to be that chaotic in the kitchen I was working with. Now we cooked, stuff like burgers, stuff like that. But like in a higher end restaurant, is it that chaotic like Hell's Kitchen where people are just like fucking up all the time?
In like a popular New York City restaurant where you're doing quick turnarounds, yeah. Like when it's high volume, it's even more chaotic. Because like Hell's Kitchen, sometimes I watch it and they're doing like one ticket at a time, which means you're only running like, well, sometimes it's not always. It's like especially in the earlier episodes, they're running like one ticket at a time because later on they get better, but. They're running one ticket at a time and they're fucking up like every single element to it. And like they're just creating a lot of that stress upon themselves. But like in like especially Maine restaurants in Portland, it can be incredibly like chaotic because it's just quick turnarounds and you're just constantly pumping it out.
Sure.
The dining room's overbooked and packed and like 2 people called out. So you got all the servers are stressing out. And people start making mistakes and like forgetting to put things on tickets, and it just like that's why people hate when you make like certain modifications on your food because all of a sudden you're like all these extra things you gotta fucking add and think about all now just like tossed in on top of the fact of like it's just crazy and you're probably underpaid and broke and also have a drug habit.
You smoke a shit ton of cigarettes.
A lot of cigarettes.
Shit ton of cigarettes.
Yeah, no, dude. I used to know this one chef. He smoked cool cigarettes. He was such a dickhead, dude. But he could light dude, his talent was he could light a cigarette and drag the whole thing down, dude, to just about nothing on one drag. And he'd even keep the ash there, like almost all in one piece, because he'd put a toothpick in it, and that would like keep all the ash up and shit.
Bro, you remember that?
This dude was a nutcase.
Remember Dan smoking that cigarette?
Oh yeah,
dude, you gotta tell him that story. Man.
Oh yeah, one
my
time
God.
we
Dude,
had
this
a.
shit is hilarious. This is like when we first started working. Like this is like week 2 or 3 when I was there.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 weeks of drawing to working there.
Yeah.
We had a dishwasher who apparently had a roommate who was a dickhead. So before he left for work, he was like probably broke as hell because he's a fucking dishwasher in Poland, Maine. So he's cranking his own cigarettes with one of them fucking old school cigarette cranks.
Like
Well,
pre-roll joiners.
Yeah, pre-roll tubes. You put some tobacco in it. You've seen the old fuckers do it. But anyway, so apparently, like, he was running late, and he, like, asked his roommate, he's like, yo, you think you can pack me, like, 5 or 6 of those? He's like, oh, don't even worry, bub. I got a full fucking pack for you, all packed up, ready to go. So he gets to work, goes on his fucking cigarette break, and all of a sudden just, like, comes in all fucking stoned and shit. He's like, I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know. And like,
took him like the whole cigarette. He's like, yo.
she
So
smoked
like,
the whole
like,
cigarette.
Like, he smoked the whole thing. He's like, yo, I didn't think it was a cigarette. I was like, took me that long to recognize that shit wasn't a cigarette guy. I was just like,
He's
he's like, and then he's inside. He's like, bro, I don't feel good at all. Like,
Oh, fuck.
I'm over there like trying to help him out, but he's like, I don't want him to lose his job. Like, he's new. I don't want him to be there. Like, he's a good guy. You know,
Yo,
Dan's a good guy.
yeah, and I thought he had a kid because he always used to wear this hat that said "World's #1 Dad." But then I found out he was just wearing that because he thought he could get a raise after the fucking boss thought he had a kid.
That's a power move right there, guy.
Jesus Christ.
On that note.
So, have you ever had that happen to you, like Chef Gordon Ramsay style? Just somebody come up and fucking chew you out?
Yeah, that fucking dickhead I was just talking about who smoked the fucking cool mints, dude. He used to like chuck pans and shit. He had like little man syndrome and anger management all rocking at the same time. What? It just fucking happens, dude. You know? It fucking happens.
You're good.
Yeah.
But
that was a very interesting day at the dockside kitchen that day, for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, no. When the dishwasher dude, they went outside and he's like sitting there like, yo, we're going to give him an hour off the clock to sit there and let the weed go away. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to fucking work. And then I just go out there and I'm like smoking a bowl and I'm like looking at him like, hey, checking out them squirrels, guy. They're kind of fucking nutty. And then he's just like, oh, stop, dude. It's like overwhelming. And I'm like, fuck, dude. He probably got like a little sprinkle of weed and he's like freaking out.
Right. Like, you need to smoke weed, but sometimes when you're in the kitchen to calm the fuck down, like, it's. You get screamed at all day, man. It's not fun.
He didn't lose his job. Anybody that just shows up to work usually didn't lose their job.
No.
You had to fuck up pretty bad.
You gotta fuck up pretty bad.
well, I know like restaurants go through people so quickly, so it's like you really just attendance alone, if you're just willing to show up, I'm sure is like enough for like most fuck ups. But we have a lot of things cooking up. Like I said earlier, we got plenty of things that we have planned, some competitions, some things that'll be, I guess, kind of game showy.
Yeah.
In some sense. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, some long-term plans.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But hey, Ryan, is there anything you want to say to our listeners?
Stay cracking.
Yeah,
Stay cracking.
Well, like I always like to say, I always want to thank to our listeners out there for always listening in and tuning in, subscribing, and following to us on all of our platforms on Spotify and YouTube.
Instagram,
and Apple Podcast, if I believe.
Yeah, we're
Absolutely.
up there. We're up there if you have to, but you know,
What's
Spotify.
the numbers right now on Spotify?
Doing good.
Spotify's
Numbers
good.
are great. So much winning. We're gonna be tired of winning soon. It's so much winning. But #1 trending Maine podcast. That's new.
It's trending so much, we actually have a few other people reach out, but that will be for a later time to talk about and soon for our listeners to hear soon enough.
Definitely. You can't comment, right, on Spotify on podcasts, can you?
You cannot, but you can leave a comment on our YouTube page or our Instagram.
Yeah,
Or
so
send us
definitely
a
do
direct
that.
message.
Yeah,
direct
definitely.
message on Instagram would probably be the best. We respond pretty quick.
Absolutely. And definitely some ideas, because I feel like, especially in New England, like, it's such an old place that, like, we could do some cool stuff. I have some ideas already, so it'll be fun.
Yeah. Thank you guys again for tuning in. We'd love to stay here all night, but we got some more beers to polish.
For
up.
those who don't know, it's 3 a.m. right now. It's like 3. We started this wicked late. It's 3:20.
It's 3:20 in the morning. What are you up to? It's 4:20 somewhere. Let's go ahead and light one, and y'all take her easy.
Pitter patter, let's polish those beers at her, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not drinking all this. You fucking out of your mind, bro.
But main thing you gotta say to all of our listeners is stay cracking, my guy.
Stay cracking.
Do, 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 do.